that you make it, and maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Shit. You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just fake it.
Hello and welcome to week 3 of the Whiskey Tangent Podcast's Whiskey Madness 2020, The Final Pour, a 4-week-long blind tasting tournament featuring 16 whiskeys from America, Scotland, and Ireland. I'm Scott, and joining me, as always, is Ed.
Hey, everyone.
And once again, our friend and bartender extraordinaire, Anders.
How's it going?
Our venue is the spectacular Whiskey Tangent Arena, again, in scenic downtown Marlton, New Jersey, my kitchen. And the crowd is simply crazed with anticipation.
Whatever.
In week 1, we matched up the 4 bourbons and 4 ryes. In week 2, we witnessed battles among the 4 Scotches and 4 Irish whiskeys. And today, we're doing round 2 for all brackets, sort of the finals of each, in order to determine which bourbon, rye, Scotch, and Irish whiskey will meet in next week's ultimate Final Pour showdown. But first, Ed's going to kick us off by revealing the 8 whiskeys that are still alive and fighting to make their whiskey dreams come true.
Well, I got to tell you, it's an exciting day. I mean, we've had so many tremendous contests between great whiskeys to get to this point. We've had upsets. We've had favorites carry through. It's even more fun than I expected and even more exciting. So the ones that we have, the Scotches going against each other will be Lagavulin versus Chivas Regal 12-year. In the Irish round, we have Green Spot versus 12-year Redbreast. In our bourbon bracket, top seed Henry McKenna will take on that upstart Willet pot still, hot off its upset over Old Forester Prohibition style 1920.
Poor Old Forester.
And in the championship of championships, the one that everybody is buying the ticket to see is Bulleit Rye versus Willet Family Estate Rye. If we had a lot of overtime in the first 2 rounds, I can't see how we escape round 2 without similar problems.
Oh, I know.
This is going to be so intense.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the first matchup, which is going to be the Scotches, Lagavulin versus Chivas Regal.
Yeah.
Let's go to Anders first. What do you think about this?
I think this is going to be a very exciting matchup we have here today between these 2 Scotches. I think it's really going to be a matchup between the consistency that Chivas Regal 12 is able to create. You know, it's a Highland blend of Speyside Scotches, aged to 12 years, versus that 8-year upstart, the Lagavulin, that brininess and that peatiness from that like distinct Islay characteristic. I think they are coming in with very different strengths, and it's going to be interesting to see how they end up matching up this week.
Yeah, this is sort of the surprise brackets because we didn't really have a lot of experience with Scotches, and we didn't know how any of this was going to shake out. I think maybe Lagavulin expected to be here. They were the number 1 seed, but I'm Chivas Regal kind of surprised. I think they made it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought that the 2nd seed, Auchentoshan, no, threw it out there and knew it was wrong. What would it be if I didn't let Scott correct my poor pronunciation of foreign words?
It's sort of our brand now.
Right, seriously. Dude, speak American. No, I picked both of these, so I feel like it's going to be a battle. Of course, I'm going to be able to tell which is which. This is one round that we can pretty much tell difference because of the smokiness of Lagavulin. But like,
I know. So we have a 12-year going up against an 8-year. Being the Scotches, they have a similar mash bill. Although, as Anders said, Chivas is a blend and Lagavulin is a single malt. That might have something to say.
Yeah, that's definitely, in the Scotch world, I think it's a pretty big difference.
Okay, we'll have Anders move over to the preparation area once again and pour us the Scotches.
Outstanding.
Let's do this.
Okay, Anders has poured us the Scotches, and he's handing them to us right now.
Here we have A.
The A.
Followed by
B. All right.
And it should be pretty distinct from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
With the emphasis on stink.
Wow.
Not to say that it smells bad, because it doesn't.
Okay.
Wow. It's pretty
Such
obvious.
a shocking difference between them.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's like
immediately.
drinking a campfire.
Yeah.
And B definitely has that sweetness, but with just a little bit of that smoky peatiness in the background.
Right. Takes a bit of a backseat.
Yeah. So let's put some water in,
Do you know why the peat ends up infused?
because they burn it to roast the malt, right?
So the malting process is almost like fermenting process. You're like sprouting nuts or things like that.
Right.
So they do that to the barley, and there's a couple of ways that you can stop it. But one of the easiest ways to do it is through smoke. Smoke helps the barley seize up and stop the malting process.
Right.
And whereas there's not a lot of wood in Scotland, but there's a lot of peat malts, they burn that. So that's how it gets that distinct flavor and characteristic.
Very interesting.
There's somewhere that they have to use sheep's dung because they don't have a lot of trees. It's like maybe it's Iceland or it's an island somewhere.
Well, that sounds like Iceland.
Yeah.
Well, people do the civet coffee from Indonesia.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
The beans that go through the cat, and you pick it out of the. Whose job is it to pick coffee beans out of the dung?
All right, so I've submitted my ballot.
Yes, Ed submitted his. All right.
And the verdict is
It's a tie.
You
should have seen it coming.
Of course it was. Ed and I we've discovered that we just don't agree. Overtime. All right, Ed is poured
Yeah, I've poured it.
for A and B for honors.
He's nosing them both.
This will be interesting to see kind of where I come down on this.
Yeah,
Yeah. Since I think I'm a bit more of a Scotch drinker than you guys.
you definitely are.
You know, Scotch just has such a great, like, a mouthfeel to it.
You feel like a grown up when you're drinking scotch.
Yeah, I feel much older than 50.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Right.
And Anders is much younger than 50.
Yes.
Should say that.
Right.
45.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, he's going back and forth between the A and the B, and it's
I don't know if I'm going to add any water.
Oh, no?
well, I mean, they're not overly proofed. You know, they're 80, right?
Yeah.
It's Lagavulin's 80 as well, right?
That's a good question.
Well, I have the bottle right in front of me. No. Lagavulin's 96.
96.
96
Yeah.
proof.
Yeah.
It's actually coming with a little bit of heat then.
Scotches
So-
do traditionally tend to be a little bit lower in proofage as opposed to bourbons.
Right,
There's-
but Lagavulin's actually very high for scotch.
It is.
I'm a little impressed with that.
I think, he's making decisions. A pen in hand.
He has to
I
need
don't
to
know
write
anything
it.
to write.
Oh, he doesn't have to write it down. Damn it. All you have to do is say A or B.
A.
So Lagavulin moves on
Lagavulin moves
Yeah,
on.
to the final pour.
It was incredibly close for me.
For me, the smoke was too much for me.
Yeah.
It destroyed the Johnnie Walker Red in the first round because it was just such a more complex flavor. But the
Right.
Chivas had enough structure and flavor to it that I liked it better for me.
Yeah, so I really need to say that Chivas Regal has redeemed itself in my mind.
And mine.
Likewise.
Yeah, it had a spectacular showing here.
Yes.
And it was complex. I mean, it's just a little bit less complex than the Lagavulin was
Right. And
today.
it's funny, we're about to go to Irish, which tends to be a little less structured than the Scotch. So it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting to see what that's like after, spending some time up here in the Scotch world.
Right.
Going down to the Irish. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the two Irish whiskeys that they're squaring off.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's do it.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Irish bracket.
Right after the favorite won the opening bracket, but did go into overtime, which has been the trend in this tournament.
It certainly has.
Now we have Green Spot versus Redbreast, which we just featured in episode 22.
Right.
We know these two expressions very well.
So funny.
And at that time, we felt that Green Spot just edged out the Redbreast. But if anything has been proved in this tournament, anybody can win on any day.
They can.
And the Redbreast 12-year is a spectacular Irish whiskey all on its own. So, Scott, What do you think Redbreast has to do to win here today?
Man, I have a feeling that it's feeling pretty good after its win over Powers Gold. Also taken into overtime, I think. Green Spot just has this really interesting nose to it. The green apple nose. And that's what won it for me in the last round. I'm expecting it to be in this round too, because the Redbreast doesn't have that.
Right.
It's almost like with the Lagavulin smoke. I'm going to be able to tell which one is which.
I don't necessarily taste that, so I don't feel like I have the same advantage you have.
Right. It will be interesting. I have a feeling Ed and I still are not on the same page. We haven't been this entire tournament. So it's going to be another tie, and Anders will get to drink something else.
Yeah, if it comes to that, I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup between the nose and the palate in this one. Redbreast does have that, it has a sherry cask finish, if I'm not mistaken, and that element I think is really going to round it out. Where I will say Green Spot has that incredible green apple nose. Some people get some peach or some other like very bright summer fruit flavors, but in my mind it doesn't really carry over as much to the palate. So I think it's going to be something that's very aggressive on the nose and then very subtle afterwards in a very elegant way to something that's very subtle and understated on the nose and then has a bit more of a bolder palate. So I think that's what's going to really kind of decide the matchup here today.
As we know, I'm fighting a head cold, which has definitely limited. Not that I couldn't smell the scotches the first round, because I certainly could. But the subtle differences between these two, the bouquet you guys are speaking of, so obviously I might not be able to pick up.
Sure.
So Anders is in the preparation area, and he's pouring us some Green Spot and some Redbreast 12-year. And I'm getting excited about this one. I really do like Irish whiskeys.
Yeah, this is going to be close. I think this is going to be really close.
Yeah. You think it's going to be close then, do you? Yeah.
I do. Hey, did I tell you I think it's going to be close?
I think it's going to be close.
Yeah. What do you think, Ed?
Close. Yeah, definitely close.
All right, here's A.
Oh.
Hey.
A. And B.
All right. Nosing A and B.
This one's going to take a little time, but we have to do this right.
Both of these are delicious. And what's funny about it is I talked up the green apple that I detected last time.
Yeah.
And that was really prominent for me. This time it's not.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
One is starting to stand out for me.
Yeah. I'm having trouble telling the difference between the two. They're quite similar to me.
I mean, the green apple was really prominent for you, but it wasn't so much for Ed last time around. And going up against the JMO, it was shockingly comparable. And I'm wondering if that happens again.
Pouring some water on.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's probably good because I am partial to the Green Spot, probably more fair. So I'm just going to pick the one I like best.
All right. Ed has made a submission.
Which is all I did as well, because I like both of them, but there's one that I liked a little better today.
Which is what we're supposed to be doing.
Right?
Like, I'm expecting Scott to choose the same one as me, but I've been expecting that all tournament, and we haven't done it.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so I just
markers out.
tasted both one last time, one right after the other, and made my decision.
It's close. It's close.
It's so close.
But I really think that we did it.
All right. How close do you think it is?
It's pretty close.
Do you think it's another tie?
I think we both picked
I'm going to say
one.
we picked the same one.
I feel like we did. It
Yeah.
was clear at the end of me. Took a while.
You did.
Oh, B. And B was?
Green Spot.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Amazing.
There we go. And you should pour yourself a little Green Spot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I almost picked A. I really did.
My first round of sips, I liked A, but then I put a couple drops of water in, and man, that's what it was. The sweet finish and the complexity of the Green Spot, just the exact same thing happened that happened on the episode. I said, I like this a little bit more.
Yeah, because we didn't talk about the finish going into this. We just talked about the nose, but there is a better finish. Yeah, so two things. Green Spot, it's not a tradition tasting Irish whiskey, but that is not to say that the Redbreast is any slouch whatsoever.
Oh, God, no.
The Redbreast was, I believe, the first whiskey we ordered for our lounge locker.
It was.
But the Green Spot's just that much more unique.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, they were the 1 and 2, and they made it to the final of the bracket, and the Green Spot did what it was supposed to do.
Right.
So we've had 2 number ones.
Yeah.
I feel like we're, we've
like
had,
the NCAA.
Right, we have 2 number ones in the bracket so far in the final pour, and now we're going to go over to the American side. So we're going to come back with bourbons up next.
Right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Doing it for years and I still ain't pop. Got blackballed and I still ain't stop. Finna flip out, you can call the cops. What they gonna say? Let the beat drop.
Now we're back. We're going to talk about the bourbons, the McKenna, #1 seed, 10-year.
Right, Henry McKenna 10-year versus the Willet Pot Still.
Willet Pot Still.
So, funny story. When, we shouldn't have, but we drank too much Henry McKenna in between recording, so I had to go out and find another bottle, which normally would not have been a problem. I mean, literally 3 years ago, you could find Henry McKenna for like $29.99.
Yeah.
And hell, I bought it in the summer for $39.99. And now you can't find it. So I called around, and one of the stores was getting a delivery, and it was a grocery store, Wegman's actually.
Yeah.
Wegman's was getting 6 bottles in, and I called up. I said, "Can you hold me one?" Like, no, we can't hold it. And I'm like, "What are you selling it for?" Like, they were selling it for $37.99.
Wow.
So I made plans to actually leave work on my lunch, drive to the Wegmans, buy it around noon. It was coming in at 9 o'clock. Well, I couldn't fucking work. You know, you got to do your job every now and then. So I was.
I have no idea why they want that from you. It's a little bit much.
Right.
I was trapped. I couldn't get out. I got out of work. I rushed there after work. I got there at 5 o'clock. I walked in. The guy was like, "Yeah, they're all gone." I'm like, "Fuck. Why?" Well, this guy came in and bought 5. And, you know, I went online and I posted that, like, you know, "Hey, thanks for buying 5, you fucking selfish bastard," basically. And some people are like, "Well, get there earlier." And I get that, you know. But this is what creates price gouging by the liquor stores. This is why Blanton's is $80 a bottle now.
Yep.
This is why everybody is hoarding. You know, I say buy 2 bottles and let the pack feed, you know. So it pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. And it was funny. Someone online was like, "You're going to too big a store. Like, find a small out-of-the-way place." So I went to this small liquor store up in Wrightstown, near Guy Air Force Base, and they had one, but it was $52.
Right. The $15 upcharge.
$52.50 or something.
Yeah.
And I was happy to have it, and we have it here tonight. We're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you really have to do your homework, because even like the Willet Pot Still that I picked up as well for $49 at Banash's, other people had it right down the road. Total Wine had it for like $58, $59. They're like 5 minutes from each other. So you really have to know.
Yeah.
Is that sighing because I'm taking too long, or because
No,
you're
it's
frustrated?
sighing because they have opinions.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I was going to say, Anders, you must see this a lot, ordering whiskey for the bar.
I hate buying whiskey for myself because I know how much it costs both parties.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I see a markup and I just have to ask why.
Yeah.
And I understand supply versus demand. That's entirely understandable.
Capitalism.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And
Why movie popcorn is $8?
You can find movie popcorn for $8? I've been paying $11. Jesus.
Well,
Fuck.
Wow.
it's 8 if you just cup your hands and they just dump it in and you walk away from the counter.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
That'll be $11.
I have seen Henry McKenna for $79.99.
Yep.
But we know there's a limited supply of it, and people are scarfing it up, and then you're going in and buying 5. You can do it. Because remember, courteous behavior is in the eye of the beholder. It's not a law. You can go buy 5. You're not breaking any rules.
Right.
It's just courteous behavior.
Well, liquor stores can combat that by saying, 1 per customer. Or be nice to just to hold it for you.
Bottom line is,
when you called and asked for it.
Yeah.
when I got the one at the McGuire base, I said, "Hey, do you have any more of these?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got a couple more." He goes, "But you have this one." That's what he said to me.
Right.
So he wasn't really looking to sell me another bottle of the McKenna.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the matchup. Enough venting about price gouging, because, you know, this tournament is about availability. We have the McKenna 10-year. It's here against the Pot Still. And let's talk about that. The Pot Still upset, I think, a favorite of all 3 of us to possibly win the whole damn tournament, which was the Old Forester Prohibition Style 1920, something that we thought is a fantastic structured whiskey expression with complexity and density and enough heat to be self-proof down to wherever you want it, whether it's on a globe or some water. And yet that day, the Pot Still was so delicious that in overtime, it carried the day for Anders and I.
Yeah, I do like the Old Forester. Like I said, when it was upset, that I was not upset. I know that one of the knocks against it is that you have to wait for it to open up. Like a lot of people say, you need to let it sit in the glass. You need to let it breathe. You need to put some water in it. And then it develops some complexity over time in your glass, probably because of the 115 proof. I've read that in a couple of different places, and I think that's what hurt it last time, because we're drinking in a quick competition here, and we're blind tasting it, and the Willet Pot Still, it smelled tremendous, and so that's why I wasn't upset by it, because it's delicious whiskey. And
beautiful nose.
Yeah.
All right, well, then let's see what happens.
All right, Anders has poured the McKenna and the Willet Pot Still into
God.
glasses
Here comes
A and
glass A.
Here we are, glass A,
Bourbon.
glass B. All right. Getting your early nosing in.
Yeah, B for butterscotch.
Ooh, B for butterscotch.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to taste them.
Okay.
I think this is a really, really tense matchup we have right here.
It is. I'm not going to be able to tell which one is which.
All right.
Proofage is pretty close, around the 94 versus 100.
They're both really good.
All right, we've added a little bit of water as well. Sinking civet now. Ed is pontificating on mash bills and life.
Wow.
All right, Ed's made his submission.
One tastes a little bit harsher to me. Maybe I just didn't put enough water in it, or as much as the other. But I'm going to pick the one that tasted the best.
All right.
To me today.
Well, let's see. It's a tie.
Wow.
And Anders gets to drink again.
Overtime. All right, Ed has poured A and B for Anders.
I'm passing him over now.
All right.
And what a wonderful bracket to have to break a tie in with these two fantastic expressions between Henry McKenna tenure and Willet Pot Still that just will not go away. It won't go away. It's the third seed.
Taking a higher seed to overtime for the second time in this tournament.
This is really incredible. There's almost like this anise nose on the second one, on B.
Interesting.
A's got a little bit more candy in the nose.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe A's just living that really like hard life, you know. Live fast, die fun.
That's for whiskeys. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sipping A?
They're both so good.
Yeah, they're
Like,
terrific.
If you said you have to only drink these two the rest of your life, I'd be like, okay.
Okay, right.
If you could throw just Bulleit Rye and Willet Rye in and make that the 4-pack, I'll take it to my grave.
Oh, you're going to put some water.
Oh, yeah.
Add some water. I'm going to be very thorough with this decision.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's important. It could be an upset of a number one seed.
Literally one drop, Bill. He's so exactly.
He's very
exactly.
exacting.
A single drop in.
Yeah. One drop. I'm going to put an actual sound effect in that.
Please do.
There are people who can make that sound effect with their...
I know. I don't feel like I have anything cool like the people that can whistle with their 2 fingers real loud.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I got to learn how to do that.
Guys that could like just spit between their gap in their teeth, like those guys, I can never do that. I can never do it.
No.
Wiggle your ears.
I can't do that. I can't do my eyebrows separately. Oh, can you do it? A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, we've been stalling for Anders because now Anders needs to make a decision.
A.
In overtime, the top seed, Henry McKenna, comes through with the victory.
All right.
Representing the bourbon bracket in the final pour.
Oh, there we go. So we've got 3 top seeds so far.
3 number ones. It's so funny. So are we on the wrong page, Scott? Because we kind of put all these whiskeys in here and we kind of agreed on the seeds and here we are.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
Even though we've been slightly askew of our choices, we got them all here. And now everybody is abuzz in the arena as we approach the last bracket, the Rye bracket, the Willet family. After a crushing defeat in overtime, can its brand mate, the family estate rye for Willet, come up with what would have to be the upset of the century here at the Whiskey Tangent World as our beloved Bulleit Rye, the most versatile, multi-talented, sometimes I consider it my best friend in the whole world.
Hey! I think it's supposed to be me.
We get enough comments. And I have to be honest with you. If any rye is going to upset Bulleit, it's going to be the Willet.
And I still ain't pop. Got blackballed and I still ain't stop. Finna flip out, you can call the cops. What they gonna say? Let the beat drop.
Bulleit Rye and versus Willet Rye. I think this one is the most ripe for the upset because Willet Rye is really complex. Bulleit Rye is not.
No.
But it has a surprising sweetness to it. It's just extremely approachable. It'll stand up to water because it's 90 proof.
Yeah.
It makes great cocktails, as you know. That's what we use here. Anders, what do you think about this matchup?
It's astounding to look back and see that this might be the biggest upset of the entire bracket. Right. But it is entirely possible that this happens tonight.
And I have to be honest, the Bulleit Rye has its own flavor. In fact, my son Michael had some the other night, and he goes, do I remember this being a sweet last time I had it? It hits you differently each time, you know, like it has its own complexity to it, but it certainly is not as dense. I think we'll know which one is which for sure because we recognize Bulleit, and the proofage of the Willet's going to take it to another level. I mean, it's almost 20 points higher, and I'm not going to choose the Bulleit out of loyalty. I'm a huge fan of the Willet Rye, and I said when we started this tournament that I felt that it had the complexity to take the tournament. And I still feel that way.
So 2 years ago at my house, before I moved into the Whiskey Tangent Arena.
That's right.
What a gorgeous arena it is.
Yes. We held a double blind whiskey tasting. Ed was there. We did not know Anders at the time, or Anders would have been there. And we had Bulleit Rye. We had Four Roses, single barrel. We had a Hill Rock Expression, the Sauterne Bourbon, I think. Knob Creek, single barrel.
Yep.
A High West Double Rye, Elijah Craig, Angel's Envy Bourbon, Woodford Reserve, and Evan Williams. But among all those high expressions, especially the Four Roses single barrel, the Hill Rock, the Knob Creek single barrel, other ryes in the mix, Bulleit Rye ended up the winner, and it wasn't even close.
I gave it a 10, and I brought the Hill Rock.
Yeah. We had 3 novices. We had 3 people that I thought were close to experts, me, Ed, and another friend of ours. And we had 1 or 2 intermediate range, and we all picked it. But even when it was just me and Ed and our friend Bill,
we averaged our 3 score.
and Bulleit still won. So that is a feather in the cap for Bulleit. They have already won a double blind tasting for me and Ed. And today we have something similar, and we might get a similar result.
Well, we're going to find out, and it'll determine the last member of the final pour. Right now, who will join Lagavulin, Green Spot, and Henry McKenna tenure.
Okay, Anders is pouring us the glasses. We wanted to say how excited we are about
Oh
this.
my God, yeah, like we're sitting here like 2 kids on Christmas.
I
Like,
know. My legs are shaking.
I'm so torn here because I love Willet Rye.
I love both of them, yeah.
I know, and yet Bulleit is such a tremendous spirit for us. Okay, here comes the A.
All right, here's A.
A
Here's B.
and B. Wow.
Today.
On the nose, they are different. Oh, A is so good. Oh, B is also good. As we knew.
God, A is so good, and B is so good.
Oh, man. This is so close. So I
Beating
think
the shit out of my mouth right now.
I think we know, just from the proofage, I
Yeah.
think we know which is which, but wow, A brings it, man.
A is delicious. It's so good.
Spicy and sweet.
And enough fire where I'm getting a little burn. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's
Way
stop
of it.
lying right now. We know what they are. A is Bulleit, B is Willet.
It is.
And they're completely different. Completely different. Both are 10s in their own fucking way. Like,
Shit.
damn.
And really, you know, if Bulleit does not go on, I'm okay with it because Willet is that good. I'm really, really struggling, maybe is the better word, to determine which one I'm actually going to pick.
This makes me think of Marvel Comics is always known for referring to DC Comics only as our distinguished competition.
Oh, yes.
And this matchup is making me think when Tom Bulleit listens to this podcast, the way he regards Willet, if Willet should in fact take the rye bracket,
Yes.
I think he'll think of Willet Rye the same way. Entirely respectable
Absolutely.
and fully appreciating your love of Bulleit Rye.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do like triple blind. So I'm going to close my eyes, mix up the glasses.
I'll hand you a glass.
Okay. And I won't know which one is A or B.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a glass.
There's a glass. I will sip this one.
I'll take it back. There's another glass.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Now make your decision. I'd already written mine down.
Okay.
Is it the first one or the second one?
It's the second one.
All right.
Okay.
Everyone's both made their submission. Bulleit Rye wins.
Wow.
What sold it for me was I cut through the proofage. I added some water, proofed the Willet down.
Right.
Like 2 drops of water in the Bulleit, and I put about 6, 7 drops of water in the Willet, and I got into the flavor of each. I swallowed it, and I said, God damn it, the Bulleit's delicious. It's sweet and spicy, and it's what I like. And the Willet is fantastic, but if I had to drink only one the rest of my life, it would be the
Right.
Bulleit. I really went into my heart and made the toughest choice I think I've made the tournament.
Well, you saw the machinations that I went through to make my decision.
yeah.
I had to do it with my eyes closed and not know which one was which in order to pick the one that I liked best. Because I think the Willet was definitely more floral than the Bulleit. And that's just not the taste that I like as much as the regular
It's
Bulleit.
just that
Really floral, really herbaceous.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's delicious too. The Willet was delicious, and my first sip, I was Willet, and I think you might say the same thing.
Yes.
The first sip, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to go Willet." The
Yes.
Willet is so complex and dense. And then I went back to A and I'm like, God, it's delicious. So sweet and peppery and it's just perfect. It's a perfect whiskey. And then I did the water thing. I'm like, no, it's the Bulleit tastes better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Willet, it's so floral, so herbaceous.
Yes.
Again, I get this like nostalgic feeling of drinking like soup on a sick day that my mother's made.
Right.
If any of you have ever had a broth that just gives you that heartiness when you drink it, like, wow, you just want to just keep drinking it. That's kind of like what I think he's trying to
Absolutely.
bring.
Yeah.
So the Bulleit has made it through and we have all 4 number ones in the final pour, which I did not believe the way this started out that was going to happen.
No.
I didn't believe going through. I thought there was going to be so many upsets.
Right.
Yeah.
I really thought that we might have Willet versus Old Forester. And I know that some people would be like, oh, you guys chose your favorite. And you know what? I don't blame you for saying that.
Yeah.
But honestly, you're right. I did choose my favorite. The favorite that was in my mouth today and the favorite that I want to drink the rest of my life. And
I mean, they just heard what we did. You proofed yours down.
Yeah.
I did mine without even looking.
Yeah.
And Bulleit ended up winning. So the matchups that we had, like Ed said, we had all number 1 seeds advancing. Lagavulin over Chivas Regal, Green Spot over Redbreast, McKenna over Willet Pot Still, and Bulleit over Willet Family Estate Rye. Poor Willet. The Willet distillery just came up short.
I mean, not poor Willet, but like shout out to Willet for really going the distance.
For the American whiskey bracket, they had 2 out of 4. They don't have that many expressions. I really want them to be my friend. I want Willet to like be my BFF. Like I wish they would call me and like, hi Ed. I'm like, hi Willet. What are you doing? We love you. I'm like seriously like a stalker for that.
Yeah, Willet's like the friend that you like, calls you every 2 to 3 months and be like, "Hey man, just wanted to check in on you. How's life going? How you doing?" Which genuinely cares about you.
Right.
So let's talk about what's coming up next week.
Next week.
Oh my god.
The matchups. So we got McKenna 10-year versus Bulleit Rye.
Wow.
And then we have Lagavulin 8-year versus Green Spot.
And you couldn't be more different over there. Like that's just going to be, we're going to know right what it is.
Yeah.
What do we feel like drinking?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But in the McKenna and Bulleit Rye, I mean, there's similarities between these two. Bulleit Rye's pepper, but there's a sweetness that they share.
Yes.
There's sweetness. They're very comparable in proofage, 5 points difference.
Right.
I think this semifinal matchup is going to be a matchup between one of the truest expressions of bourbon and one of the truest expressions of rye.
Yeah.
Versus a very distinct Scotch and a very distinct
And the
Irish
final
whiskey.
pour itself, the finals, I mean, you could have a Henry McKenna versus a Lagavulin.
Right.
Or you could have a Bulleit Rye versus a Green Spot. I mean, these are completely different. They're going to be coming from all different angles.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's going to be tough for us, I think.
it's going to be, if it's Lagavulin versus Henry McKenna, it's not going to be tough for me. It's going to be tough for you.
I think at this point, there's going to be a lot less pretense about trying to keep things distinct. Everything is going to be distinct.
Right.
The gloves are off.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to thank everybody for tuning into this round of the Whiskey Madness 2020. I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
I'm Anders.
And we'll see you next week for the championship.
Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Yeah. You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just fake it.